The utility part of your machine is packed with great stitches, all the essential stitches to the buttonholes to the eyelets, including decorative eyelets. We were just playing with some of those, plus the bar tack and darning menu. We're going to show you how you can use the darning or mending stitches to your advantage here. There's two different ones. One has a little bit more of a underlay type stitching first before it goes and stitches over the opening. So what are we talking about at this point? We're talking about if we had a rip in a piece of fabric. You know what I'm talking about. We've got something that's frayed out and you really got to get that stitched up before it gets any bigger. So first thing you want to do is put some type of interfacing on the back of it. An iron-on interfacing, maybe a little piece of cutaway. I'm going to just take the piece of fabric right here and I got to have something to stitch to. Next you'll notice that on screen the little starting point, the green plus, is in the upper left corner. So when I start, wherever my rip is, which is here, I'm going to want to start kind of in this upper part. And then I'm going to have complete control of how long I need the stitch group to be. If I had a bigger hole, I could have it stitched all the way down. There's a reverse button on screen. So after I start to stitch, however long that I need it to be, I'll stop, touch the reverse button on the front of the machine, and then it will go ahead and stitch every line back and forth from the left needle position all the way to the right needle position. We have foot 2A is what's called for, and the IDT is disengaged, so make sure whenever using this foot, make sure that's not engaged. Doesn't work well at all, trust me. We can even use, let's go ahead and do the foot control for the first little line. I'm kind of starting way up there in that top corner. And I've stitched down far enough. I'm going to touch the reverse button. And then it's just going to go ahead and stitch forward and back at each needle position. Now, if my rip was bigger than the area that it can stitch in, because remember, it's only 9 millimeters across from left to right, which at least is bigger than most machines. But if you do find yourself needing an additional distance, okay, so we can just go ahead and start again somewhere about here and then overlap a row or two of stitches, and then it would keep going. Because look at this. Well, after we've stitched this, did you notice that the reverse button feature disappears? And let's go ahead and touch the question mark. Now the repeat, that stitch icon is up. That means it's memorized how many stitches it took to get to the length that I asked for, and it's ready to do that again. So if I needed to, I could just keep going and I could really fill in the whole area should that be a bigger rip. So the mending stitch, now that you had to know what we're talking about, is the stitch number 2, what it would do, and this is good if you had a really frayed out area, it will stitch back and forth like a serpentine stitch and then go back over the top of it with what we've done so far, the back and forth stitches. So a very reinforced version of the original mending stitch.